The moment his eyes locked onto the small glint of gold at the little girl's chest, the world seemed to tilt beneath his feet. In the middle of a quiet brick-lined street, surrounded by autumn leaves and distant footsteps, a billionaire who owned skyscrapers and headlines felt his breath disappear. That necklace was not just jewelry. It was a piece of his past he had buried with grief, a symbol he believed had vanished forever. And now, impossibly, it rested against the worn dress of a poor little girl who looked at him with innocent confusion, unaware that her presence had just cracked open a life built on steel and silence. Before the story goes any further, take a moment. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that even the hardest hearts can be changed, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach the people who need them most. The billionaire had built his empire from relentless ambition and sleepless nights, but none of his success could erase the ache that followed him like a shadow. Years ago, before the wealth, before the private jets and guarded gates, there had been love, a quiet, ordinary life filled with laughter and fragile dreams. The necklace had belonged to the woman he loved more than life itself, a simple gold chain with a small initial, given to her on a day when the future still felt kind. The day she disappeared from his life was the day that future shattered. The necklace was lost in the chaos that followed, and with it, the last physical piece of a love he never spoke about again. The little girl stood in front of him, clutching a crumpled bill in her tiny hand, her eyes wide, her posture unsure. She did not belong to his world of tailored suits and polished shoes. Her dress was faded, her shoes worn thin, and her hair carried the quiet messiness of a child whose mornings were more about survival than routine. She had found the necklace not through inheritance or luxury, but through chance and hardship. It had been passed down to her by someone who once helped her family during a time when help was rare. To her, it was simply something precious in a life that offered very little. As the billionaire knelt to her level, the city around them blurred. His heart pounded with memories he had locked away for decades. He studied the necklace carefully, recognizing every curve, every tiny imperfection. This was no coincidence, no similar design. This was the very necklace he had searched for in vain, the one he believed the world had swallowed whole. And now it hung from the neck of a child who looked like she carried the weight of too much sadness for someone so small. The man's life had been defined by control. He controlled markets, people, outcomes, but standing there, he realized how little control he had ever truly possessed. Fate had taken something from him without explanation, and now it had placed it back in his path in the most unexpected way. The challenge before him was not one of money or power, but of the heart. He could not simply take back what was once his. He could not erase the years that had passed or the suffering that had shaped them both. As he learned more about the girl's life, the truth unfolded slowly and painfully. She lived with a struggling guardian in a home where warmth was scarce and stability even scarcer. Every day was a quiet battle against hunger, fear, and uncertainty. The necklace was not a luxury to her. It was a reminder that someone, somewhere, had once cared. And now, standing before a man who looked at her with a strange mix of sorrow and awe, she sensed that something important was happening, even if she could not understand it. The billionaire felt something shift inside him. For the first time in years, his success felt hollow, his achievements small. The challenges he had faced in business paled in comparison to the quiet courage of a child navigating a world that had given her so little. He realized that the necklace had not been lost. It had been waiting for the right moment to return to him, not as a possession, but as a lesson. What he did next shocked everyone who would later hear the story. Instead of reclaiming the necklace, he made a decision that would ripple far beyond that street. He chose to change the course of a life rather than recover a memory. He arranged for the girl and her guardian to receive the support they had never known, not as charity, but as dignity. Education, safety, opportunity, and a future that did not depend on luck alone were quietly set in motion. The transformation did not happen overnight. There were struggles, adjustments, and moments of doubt. The girl had to learn to trust a world that had often disappointed her. The billionaire had to confront emotions he had buried beneath years of success. Yet with each passing day, something healed in both of them. The girl began to smile more freely, to dream without fear. The man began to feel the weight lift from his chest, replaced by a sense of purpose he had forgotten was possible. The necklace remained with the girl, no longer just a symbol of the past, but a bridge between two broken stories finding their way forward. The billionaire understood now that love does not vanish when it is lost. It transforms. It finds new ways to exist, new lives to touch. Through this child, the love he thought he had lost forever had returned, not to haunt him, but to guide him. Years later, people would speak of the billionaire not just for his wealth, but for the quiet generosity that followed that day. They would never know the full reason why he funded schools, shelters, and programs for children forgotten by society. They would never see the moment his heart broke open on a quiet street when he saw a glint of gold against a faded dress. But every life he touched carried a piece of that moment forward. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness can change destinies and that compassion can heal even the deepest wounds, please take a moment near the end of this video to like, share, and engage. Your support helps spread stories that restore faith in humanity. And before we close, here is a special request. Comment below with your thoughts or share a moment when kindness changed your life. Your words may inspire someone who is quietly struggling right now. In the end, the billionaire learned that true wealth is not measured by what we own, but by what we give away. A lost necklace brought him face to face with a truth he had avoided for years. Sometimes what we think we have lost forever returns to us, not to be reclaimed, but to remind us who we were always meant to be.